Hello friends, how are you? I hope you're having a great start to your week. Um, Today we are going to talk about our Square One Art project and what that looks like when you finish up. And then I have a small activity for you to do today during some free time that you might have. So first, once again, let's start with our mantra, making sure that we're ready to get going and get focused on creating. So here we go. You can repeat after me, just say it in your head, whatever you'd like. I am an artist. I create with my hands, I create with my head, I create with my heart. I can create anything. Okay, so we did our Square One art. You might still be working on it, and that's fine. The biggest thing, if you remember, and I'm going to show you mine right now, or something that I worked on, is that you use the entire page. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit here. All right. So this is when I had started. I added some details to it because it was just kind of, it was just the sky and the mountains. All right. So I added more details by putting some lines and some pattern into the mountains to make them a little bit more interesting. I added some stars up here with just a white wax crayon. I made a little moon here, again with a white wax crayon and a blue crayon. And I covered the outside with some newspaper. I just glued it on just to add some texture and some interest to it. When I did that is I took my black Crayola marker and just did a little border around it, and then added some water to it, which then created a watercolor. So if I just color this like I showed you the last time, and then just either take a paintbrush or a cotton swab, which we have used before, and just paint around it, it'll kind of help create a nice little frame here. All right. So now I would consider this finished. I don't really have any white space that's showing. It's colorful. You can see what's going on. It's clear. I've taken up most of the space. Now, one thing I did not mention to you before, because we usually don't have this issue, is that you need to, when you draw something for Square One Art, you need to stay away from using things that are commercial. So, for example, if I decided to draw a Crayola marker and I wrote Crayola and all that kind of stuff, I couldn't do that because it's commercial. If you decided to draw a picture of SpongeBob or something like that, you can't create that. You can't do that because that has been created by another artist. Now, there are plenty of artists that do landscapes and so forth, but this isn't an original work by me, something from my imagination. So the real important thing with Square One Art is that you have to make sure that it is your creation. If we send something in that has something like one of the Marvel characters or SpongeBob or Pac-Man or anything like that, they just will not reproduce it. All right, so just keep that in mind. And if you did happen to create something like that, I apologize for not saying something to you before. You'll just have to rethink it and create something else. So I'm all finished with this. When I'm done, what I want to make sure that I do is I want to write my first and last name on the back along with the grade. Okay, I'll write my grade down here. Now I'm of course a teacher, but if you're in 5th grade, you just write 5th, or if you're in 4th grade, you'll write 4th. One of those two. All right. So first and last name and grade. You also have this piece of paper. This is the piece of paper. If you didn't create yours on here, it needs to fit in this section, all right? This is where your square one art needs to fit. If you have the ability to glue it on here, great. If you don't, just include it with your drawing. But I'm going to ask you to make sure you fill this out. Please fill it out as neat as you possibly can. I am going to use all capital letters to spell my first name and my last name. Just like that, all right? You'll put your grade here, and then this is your classroom teacher. So your classroom teacher is either Miss Londa, okay, for 4th grade, or it's Miss Val or Miss Emily in the 5th grade. If you write down Miss Emily and Miss Val here, that's fine, because they're co-teaching. And then for school name, you can just write MDCS. So important that all of this information is neat and easy for me to read, all right? And like I said, super important that your first and last name are on the back, especially if you don't have the ability to put it on this piece of paper. Now, when I'm looking at this and I'm getting ready to write my name somewhere, remember what we said before is that it needs to be at least an inch away from one of the sides, okay? And what you do as an artist, you want to find a space where you can write your name that is not going to be distracting from the beautiful work that you've done, all right? So for me, I'm going to take a Sharpie marker. You want to make sure you're going to write your name clear, all right? So make sure you slow down and write it clearly and not too huge, all right? So I'm going to write mine right here that follows the curve of this circle. So I'm just going to write my first name, and then I could put the year if I wanted to, 2020, all right? Could write it there. If I write it down here, it's going to be cut off. If I write it here, it's going to be cut off. If I write it across the middle, it's going to be super distracting and take away from the artwork, all right? So I could write it along the circle up here, it would be great. Up here, right here. I could write it nice on one of these lines here, but you don't want to write it over the top for it to take away from your beautiful artwork. I will have a drop box outside the art room studio. It will say Square One Art Dropbox, and that is where you put this artwork, okay? Please, please, please make sure you have all the information on here that is needed. If I don't have it and I don't have your name, then I will not submit it, okay? So please take good care to do that. All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a challenge for you to work on. I have a picture of this that I will post in the assignment so that you can see it so that it's not backwards. But we have a sketchbook challenge, all right? A sketchbook drawing challenge. I want you to choose one of these challenges, okay? Challenge 1 is draw your favorite animal. Challenge 2 is draw your favorite candy. Or challenge 3 is draw something you want. So what you'll do is you'll open to your first blank page of your sketchbook. Now, what I like to tell kids is there's nothing, it's hard to keep this open. So I'm just going to open it, and I'm going to make a nice little crease here so that it can stay open. All right, just like that. So now my sketchbook can open easily. Now you can draw landscape, or you can draw portrait direction. It's up to you, whatever you'd like. But I'm going to ask that you do 2 things to begin with. The first thing is to draw with a pencil, all right? Make sure you draw with a pencil. If you happen to draw something that you don't like, then please use an eraser to erase it. But don't just disregard it, all right? Make something out of it. That's the other part of the challenge. That if I say, well, my favorite animal is a dog, and I draw a dog, but I don't really like the dog, I'm not going to put a big X through it and then move on to the next page. I can turn it into something else. So when you are creating your drawings, I really want you to work on drawing and creating something that fills the entire page, all right? So I'm just going to start drawing. I just love candy. I love a lot of different candies. And what I'm going to do is just draw some bubblegum and hard candy here. Here's the wrapper, all right? I don't have any candy in front of me right now, unfortunately, so I'm just kind of drawing from my imagination. But something that's really nice to do is if you have something in front of you, if you have candy in front of you, you could draw it by looking at it from observation, all right? So this is maybe double bubble. I love that bubble gum. And like I said, I don't quite remember what the wrapper looks like, but I could look on the internet, or I could go get some candy and figure that out, but that's one thing. Another thing that I really love are gummy worms. So I'm just going to draw a whole kind of pile of gummy worms here. But what I'm drawing, I want to make sure I'm drawing fairly big, because it's easier, first of all, to take up space that way, but also it's easier to put in details and color, all right? If I just made this a skinny worm like that, number one, I don't really know that that's a worm, right? That could just be a mistake that I made or something. But I'm actually going to put a little eyeball on it. But I made this mark, so I want to make something out of it. So I'm going to make some more gummy worms, because they are one of my favorites. I really love twin snakes. Have you guys had twin snakes yet? Oh my gosh, they're so good. They're a little bit sour and a little bit sweet, but I love them. So I'm just going to keep going. And I'm going to keep going until I fill this entire page, all right? Some of my things might overlap. I'm drawing right now a Tootsie Roll Pop. They're one of my favorite ones. Things, especially the cherry ones. I love them, all right? And like I said, I don't really remember what the wrapper looks like, but I'm going to go back and look at it. And then I'll have a better idea. So I'm drawing all this in pencil so that if I do make a mistake, I could always easily erase. Or like I did when I made the gummy worm, I could, you know, turn it into something. Both of those things are fine. So this is a really good start, but it's not filled up yet. I also like Hershey's Kisses. So I'm going to draw some of those. And here's the little wrapper thingy. And maybe I'll make some more of them. All right. Just like that. And I'll get a few more of those. But I want to fill up this space, I want to fill up this space, and I want to fill up this space. And once I have it all drawn in pencil, I could use my crayons to color it. If you have colored pencils, You could use your colored pencils to color it. One thing I also like to do is take a marker, and I like to trace around areas with a marker, and then I like to color in with a crayon. So the marker kind of highlights the area, and then I just take a crayon and I color it in, and I really like the effect of that. So it makes my object stand out, and it gives it a little bit of color. And did you know, friends, you can actually mix crayons, and you can make things that are a little bit darker, you can make things that are a little bit lighter, and it's really kind of fun to do instead of just, straight up coloring, which is fun, but you can try to experiment a little bit by mixing things. That's one of the reasons why we have our sketchbook, is to try things out to see if they might work, so you can use them in a final artwork later. So I'm just going to kind of continue with this. You see what happens when I add the white? When I add the white to the pink, it kind of makes it blend a little bit. I'll see if I can get you to see it down here with the green. So if I add a little bit of green and blue together, and I put a little bit of white over the top, it just blends it, and it makes it look like it has value, or lightness and darkness. All right, so I'm just going to continue with this whole thing. I love to do things in the background, so I think what I'll do in the background here is maybe just make some, like a polka dot pattern, because I love me some polka dots. And I'm just going to make a polka dot pattern for the background once I've finished everything, because that will help kind of break up some of that white space as well. So your assignment for this week is making sure that you get your square one art finished, all right? Making sure that you get your name on the paper that we're supposed to put it on, and the name on the back, and submit it, all right? Your second part to your challenge this week is your sketchbook drawing challenge. Just choosing one of these things, making sure you fill the entire page of your sketchbook, all right? Friends, when you finish an assignment, please make sure you take a picture of it and submit it when you turn it in. I have made a little video to show you how to do that, so check that out if you need help. All right, so let's end today by doing a little bit of a mindfulness activity. So sit up, or sit on the ground, or sit in a chair. Just find a comfortable place with your hands on the table or your hands in your lap. It's your choice. You can lightly close your eyes. And what I want you to imagine is that you're a cloud in the sky. And I want you to think about what kind of cloud you are. Are you a white fluffy cloud? Are you a dark gray storm cloud? And if you happen to be a storm cloud today, imagine that your angry raindrops are just falling away. Maybe you're a silly cloud that makes a kind of silly shapes, like jelly beans or polar bears or Volkswagen Beetles in the sky. Or maybe you're a sparkly cloud that's filled with snowflakes. You can be any kind of cloud you'd like. Now I want you to take a long breath in and slowly let it out. Thank you, friends, for your attention. I cannot wait to see your Square One art projects. Good luck with your sketchbook drawing challenge this week. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye.